Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of The Workshop. Today I have with me Isidore, Izzy, Ahmed, and Brandon. My name is Victoria. I'm your host. I'm located in Montreal. Izzy, where are you right now?
I am in Washington.
Washington. What about you, Ahmed?
I'm in Hamilton, Ontario,
Hamilton. And
in
then
Canada.
You, Brandon?
I'm in Washington. I'm Tacoma area.
Oh, okay. You guys know each other?
No, I don't think I've met Izzy before.
No, never. I just moved to the area, so I hadn't really met anybody.
Oh, okay, I see. So I'd like to remind before we start everyone that might be watching that this is a comedy safe space, which means you can say whatever you want to say, with the intent of being funny. There's no hard limit here, which is pretty much the opposite of a safe space. So we're just here to have fun and be comedians. And the way it works is that Kevin or Scott gave us a very random topic. We wrote hopefully 3 to 5 minutes on it. We're going to present it to each other, give each other feedback, and then we're going to do the same thing with our own material that we've been working on. So I'm going to be the one taking the bullet today, which is fun. I like that, because then I can concentrate on the feedback after. All right, let's see. My topic was decorations. So my boyfriend bought a place, and now all I can talk about is how I'm going to decorate it, right? And all he talks about are his crushing debts. My boyfriend and I come from very different backgrounds, and that was made painfully clear when he purchased the property. He kept saying it's nice because it has a yard. I kept saying it's nice because it has windows. He kept saying the neighborhood is nice because of the community garden and the bike path. And I think it's pretty impressive that I haven't seen any old mattress laying around on the sidewalk, or a weird neighbor that forgot to close his blinds. He asked the realtor about the neighborhood situation, and I asked about the bed bug situation. We watch each other's backs. I don't do seasonal decorations anymore. I don't know why I wrote anymore. I never did seasonal decorations. I don't like Christmas or any holidays, and I feel like you do those to have people over, and I don't like people either. I'm kind of like the Grinch in the first half of the movie before, like, the 8-year-old kid therapized him and it got really soft. Lost his edge. So yeah, I don't do Easter decorations, no Halloween, no Christmas. I only decorate with things that I want there permanently. Like, I got guitars there that I never pick up. They're full of dust. I have a sign there that I made for protests and environmental protests as YOLO, And I remember at that protest, I shoved Greta Thunberg because she was in my way and I didn't know who she was. It got pretty intense. The march for the environment was pretty depressing here in Montreal. The people at the front were all natives, and they had signs that said stuff like, give us back our land, respect the earth, stop fracking our land. And then behind them was just a bunch of white people that had signs that said, it's our land too, make the earth gay again, and you wouldn't frack your mother. I don't know how to be proud of that, but it's okay. I also wrote down here that I love decorating muffins. Just true. I love decorating muffins, but I'm too lazy. I still buy the icing, but when I make them, I don't put the icing on. Instead, I just leave it in the back of the fridge. And then I eat the whole thing next time that my life hits a snag. Like, even the smallest of snag. Like, I don't have to be spiraling to the bottom just to eat the icing. It's like, oh no, I forgot to do the dishes, or oh no, my neighbor forgot to close his blinds again. And then I'll just eat a bunch of icing. That's it. That's all I have on decorations. Thank you. So, what did you guys think?
I like the making fun of people forgetting to close their
To close
blinds,
the
because
blinds.
I think that resonated with me. There was a lot of times where I've seen people in apartments where their blinds was open, and maybe I was on the receiving end of that sometimes where I wasn't even noticing. I don't know. I would think the only thing I would have thought right there is just maybe put more emphasis on that, because it took me a second at first. Like maybe it's just because I didn't notice that you were doing that, but yeah, I would say just I'm trying to think of ways where you can emphasize it more, emphasize that you're being sarcastic about it, but
Like,
yeah, that was pretty
forgot.
good. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Forgot.
Yeah, like you change your tone or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it was really good.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Izzy? What did you think?
I like the seeing two different things. As far as the boyfriend, y'all having two different views about decoration, and maybe try to make them a little bit more polar opposite. Like, hey, he noticed that, like, his decoration was the fact that he didn't like there was no roaches in the house.
Yeah.
And my decoration was the wallpaper, something like that, like where it's two extreme opposites, something like that.
Okay.
And but yeah, I like that one. And then about the thing about the what Ahmed brought up, I thought that was good too. Yeah.
Thank you. What about you, Brandon? What did you think?
I agree with both of them. The other thing I liked how, basically talk about the Grinch and basically saying that, before he, lost his edge, and basically saying that really, like, most people think that the Grinch got better and you're like, no, he got worse, kind of, I like that. And I mean, I like the whole idea, just you decorate for things that you're going to have there forever, not just throw things up and take them back down, which honestly resonates really big with me right now because I just took down all the Christmas stuff here. So, but yeah.
You're going to put them back up next year, right?
You took them down already? You're smart. I'll tell you, I'm just now taking stuff down from last year.
We just bought this house like 4 months ago, so it was like our first Christmas here. So we don't want to be that neighbor yet. So I think next year we're just gonna put them up and leave them up.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I was going with Izzy's idea. I mean, that's perfect. That's what I would do. I always just leave my decorations for next year.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I close the curtains for now, but.
But like, you take away the Christmas tree, right?
Oh yeah, that's.
Those you.
Yeah. No,
you don't leave the Christmas tree up for like 2 weeks, right, Izzy?
Why not? I mean,
you bought it, might as well use it. See, we always get a real tree in our old house. It was like the second floor, and I'd literally just open the window to the living room and chuck it out the window. But
yeah. Right, for real.
Yeah. For me, it's like once Christmas is over, it's over. Get rid of the shit. We're done. Let's move on. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess if you buy a live one too, it's better.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next comic, which is Brandon. Are you ready?
All right. Let's see. This one was kind of weird. So I got heel, but like H-E-E-L. So not H-E-A-L, H-E-E-L. So he made sure to spell it. So Kevin was very specific on which heel it was. So heel, it's kind of one of those words. It's one of those very useful words. It's got a lot of different uses to it. It means anything from, your foot, the back of your foot, to the heel of your hand, the heel of bread. So basically it's saying that our feet is disgusting. That's why you don't eat that edge of bread. It's the same thing as the back of your foot. So, I mean, it's kind of about the same consistency. I'm a runner, so it's about the same consistency as the bread there. So heel, it's some of the other things that they say. It's a contemptible person, or somebody who's, self-centered or untrustworthy. So you see a lot of times in sports where you have the guy that's the heel, a lot of times in, wrestling, stuff like that. I always feel like in a lot of ways I've tried very hard over the years to become the heel. I tell everyone that, I have multiple personalities, and pretty much the one that's out most of the time is the heel. That's when I call Brandon, by the way. So this one was a tough one. Like I said, it was kind of interesting. So The heel also, has one of those things, on they use it in different ways, on the heels of something means that it's right after it happens, which means like, kind of like, I always see that though as like a dog is about to bite my heel. That's why I always think of on the heels, they're chasing you to get that little, but my dog's a herding dog and likes to bite heels anyway. That's what he does. And the Achilles heel, which is a weakness. So, I mean, heel, it sounds like a good thing at first, but then you really start thinking about it. It's bad. I mean, the Achilles heel, you got the heel of bread, which is disgusting. I mean, who actually eats that stuff? The heel of your foot, which is pretty much the same consistency of the bread, which now I'm never going to be able to look at that the same way again now that I've said that. So, I mean, it's a very interesting word. So, and then for a verb, heel is like when you tell a dog to like stay at your heel when you're walking with them, and supposedly my dog can't do that. I mean, my dog doesn't even know the word sit. I tell him to sit. He looks at me like, what? Did you say treat? So, and that's about all he knows is treat. I better not say that too loud. He's probably behind me now. But, yeah, that's really all I got. Like I said, it was a tough one. I tried really figuring out how to go with that.
Thank you. That was good. The heel thing where you say it's the same consistency, I thought you could add like it's the same smell or also it's the same taste as or something weird. And I know this wasn't part of what you wrote, but you said my dog's right behind me. I thought you were gonna say like, and he doesn't want me to talk about him in the stand-up or something.
Yeah. That is pretty good actually. Because my family hates that, so that I talk about that.
But yeah, that was good. Good job. What did you think, Izzy?
I like the maybe like heel. Yeah, it is a difficult word. Maybe the heel of bread I thought might be cool to kind of bring up how at the like maybe like to get you like it was a punishment to eat the heel of the bread. Like that was always like something in the house. Like like if you did something wrong, everybody would eat all the bread, and then you get the heel of the bread. Talk about. I mean, the heel for the dog. Maybe my dog acts like a 2020 feminist and doesn't want to listen. I don't know. Maybe that's
You must have just moved to Seattle because that will not go here. No, just kidding.
Right, but I've tried similar jokes and if they've worked. It just depends on how it's
Tacoma. It will. Tacoma it does. Seattle it doesn't. They're two different places.
Yeah.
Only,
Depends on the audiences, though.
Maybe if you say it's like a 2020 feminist, I don't own him. He's his own dog or something.
He's his own dog. Yeah, there we go.
Or maybe a 2020 anti-masker that doesn't want to listen.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
That could work.
Let me see. Yeah, that's all I can think of offhand. But it's an interesting word. It's hard to kind of throw that in it because it's such a it's kind of a round peg in a square hole is what you're trying to fit it in.
It is. I mean, it's kind of that's one of the reasons I kind of like these workshops. It gives you those weird brain teasers to try and think of how to do that. So this was an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Heel sounds like a French person trying to say eel.
It does. You could have gone. Yeah, that's that was a thought I didn't think of. Go down the route of
Have you heard a lot of because you're in Montreal? So have you heard a lot of people try to say eel and just sounded like heel?
The H's are even me, but their H's are just everywhere.
Okay.
It's makes no difference where the H is placed. But yeah, what did you think of the?
It was great. There's not a lot I can add. Possibly just when you were talking about your dog, you can also because you sort of brought up your own self and you made fun of your own self during the end of it. So you can do the same thing with the dog, like Victoria said, like I don't want to bring him up because we had an agreement. I don't want to get kicked out of the apartment or something like that. And then say something like, and he always keeps me on my heels. That's probably why I hate that word so much. I don't know. It's sort of like where you can bring it back to like a realistic perspective about yourself, if that makes sense. Put it into a real life scenario. But yeah, you're right. There's not a lot that you can do with that word. I think maybe it's just because it's very small.
Right.
The first thing I would have thought is maybe try to make a play on the word between that and the other meanings. So there's heal, and then there's heal. There's healing. There's, there's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So healing is getting better, but sometimes maybe it means growing a heel or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I thought it meant. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing, but yeah, other than that, like the jokes that you made, they were pretty interesting. The bread one was very
Yeah.
clever. I felt like there's a lot of potential in that one, pretty much, if you hate bread that much. So
Just the heel.
I feel like we all got really like focused on the dog.
oh yeah. But it was still like the heel of the bread. I felt like there was a lot of potential in that one.
A lot of potential, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you.
We're gonna move on to the next person, which is Ahmed, right?
Yep. So mine is sort of kind of gonna be tricky as well. I hope I can make it to 5 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes. But my word was transparency, and I didn't know what that meant really at first. I thought it meant having different parents from the ones you were born with, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it means still, because I don't even think that other people know what it means, because when my girlfriend tells me that I'm such a transparent person, she means that I'm an open book and I'm emotionally intelligent. But when my wife tells me that she can see straight through me, all of a sudden it means that I'm full of shit. I don't know. Also, if we're being transparent with ourselves, I think that the PC culture should be replaced with the PP culture, since we're being more politically polite than politically correct. Also, it'll be a pretty effective way in sniffing out pedophiles, I think, online. I mean, say what you want, but it works. That being said, also, if you guys do change it to the PP culture, I will be following that page on every single platform. Ironically, just not even looking at your information, just ironically pissing myself at the picture because it's called PP culture. So on another note, speaking of PPs, actually, I got banned from a hotel last week. And I'm trying to be transparent here. So here's the story. I once was showering in a hotel and it had transparent glass. And I didn't know that it was transparent glass, but I didn't really care. And I was just showering and all of a sudden the housekeeping barged in, right? They barged into the bathroom. They didn't even know or hear me showering. They just started cleaning the bathroom like I wasn't butt naked right there, right? But as soon as and honestly, they didn't even care that I was there. They just kept washing and left. I was like, okay, thank you. But as soon as I'm butt naked in the lobby, all of a sudden it's public nudity or whatever they call it. I honestly don't think that other people know what it means either, because I've heard people say that Trump is transparent. While I feel like he's the type of person who would press the red button when no one is watching. You know what I mean? Like, you know how like he has to have the red button in the on his desk somewhere. That just has to happen. That's so Trump-like of him. So I feel like right before they kick him out of the Trump, like the White House, they'd be like, all right, Mr. President, time to go. Are you ready? He'll just be like, yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. You guys can go ahead. I'll just close up, Boop. And then he just runs away. And then the credits come up like we just watched an M. Night Shyamalan movie. And honestly, I feel like that gives me a lot of good ideas for a script. So I think I'm going to finish it off right there. Thanks.
Thank you. That was good. I loved your first joke about like having different parents. That was really funny.
I was scared how that was gonna get delivered, because I didn't want it to get taken the wrong way.
No. And then your thing about like going in the lobby naked. I thought you could do a callback for PP culture. You're like, I'm just trying to be more PP or something.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, tie it into that joke, because there were two different bits, but they can be one big bit. Yeah.
And I love the idea that Trump is closing up shop. Like, I'll just close up. What is he? He's counting the till and like just
Yeah.
doing inventory of all the paper. I don't know. It's just so funny. Like
It's hard.
store.
It's hard to do it. I was scared of doing that joke like here because it's hard to do it in front of a camera. But the whole idea is just he acts like he's doing something important, just presses the red button that blows all the missiles up, and then just runs out of the office. But yeah, that was kind of the idea. Is just I really just hope seeing him get out of office. That's all I'm worried about, really.
Yeah. I guess you guys would be pretty worried about that. It's gonna be fine. Izzy, what did you think of the set?
The one about stepping out, I'm stepping out into the lobby. Now it's the problem. That is golden. That is a good either the end of the show or the beginning of a show because it sets the stage. Like maybe add more into it. Like she seemed like she was cleaning. She seemed to not be bothered. I didn't know if that was because my thing was small or because maybe her eyes were that bad or something. I don't know. Or something kind of add more to the story. She was definitely not Arnold Schwarzenegger's housekeeper because she didn't notice nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Have no babies together. So I mean that's it's a good story to put in there. That's cool. I didn't catch the word at the beginning. What was the beginning word that you?
Transparency.
Transparency. Okay. Yeah. About the girlfriend seeing, the wife saying that you're transparent and she can see straight through you. That if you do that and like talk about, how do y'all women see straight through dudes? I can see why a lot of y'all want to remain single, seeing all the stuff that y'all go through. If you do stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, we ain't doing, all that.
Get an applause break.
So that'll be good if you need if you have an audience full of women.
Get applause breaks. Get applause breaks. I feel like
right. That will get you a lot of applause with that. And then
that works. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. What about you, Brendan? What did you think?
I liked the beginning, the different parents. That one was good. The other one was the wife and the girlfriend did. I did like that because it was one of those. The girlfriend said one thing, and then the wife said something else.
Exactly.
So it was kind of one of those that just I caught that one. And I was like, like okay, yeah. So yeah, that's why the wife could see right through you because you have a girlfriend. So.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going for. It's kind of hard. It is. I'll try to shave it down because it's hard to follow. Maybe.
I'll be honest. I like the ones where you reach a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you don't bring the audience to the edge of the joke and just let them reach for it. And that's where I kind of I like that one because it was that you had to reach for it. The audience had to reach out for that a little bit. Going, oh, I get it now. Their wife could see right through him because he has just
the audience sort of figures it out from hearing the punchline compared with like the build up and stuff like that. So instead of you actually telling them straight up the joke and the whole thing.
Yeah, they kind of catch it by just So no, I really like that. So it was good writing. I liked it. I liked all of it.
All right.
Appreciate that.
We're
gonna move on to the next person, which is Izzy. Izzy, are you ready?
Okay, ready? Okay, all right. Okay, you already clapped. You already clapping. This is what you got. Izzy. Hey. I'm telling you, I feel nervous like Trump at a BET convention. I don't know how this is gonna work. But my word was crisis. Crisis definitely is the word for this year. I tell you, 2020 felt like eating that gas station burrito that it tastes good going down, and then as you driving off, you feel a little different. Oh, that's a true crisis. You had that gas station burrito, you good. You take like, man, it's off the chain. Man, they got some delicious cheeses in this thing, and then oh, wait a minute. And don't be in traffic or something trying to get through this. That's a true crisis. You can't stop for nothing. None of that. I tell you, this year has definitely been a crisis. As far as I've been seeing a lot of people not able to have sex in a crisis. Dudes can't even go to the side chick house because now she might give you COVID, and then like if she gives you COVID and you bring it to the house, your girlfriend gonna bring it up. Oh, you got that. Oh, you got COVID, but you ain't been nowhere. And so what you been doing? So she has to. You have to tell her. If you get the side chick, you have to tell her try to, suck. Give your head through a mask. You got to go like this. Like this. Cover her nose up like this and do it like that. I'm telling you, that's how you got to get her. It's been a true crisis here. But the one thing that's been interesting with all this crisis stuff is getting old people to get on the same accord with technology. That has been the true crisis. I know old people, they know how to report stuff to the homeowner association, but they can't tell you their Apple password. They're like, I know it. Oh, it's in this first. Go get my book. You like what the password is something you can't just remember it. It's in this software. Hold on. Or to even get them doing FaceTime. And FaceTime is just them like this. Can you see me? How you doing? So you're like giving them a nasal cavity. I done gave my mama a COVID exam because I done went all up her nose with the phone. And I'm like, this is a true crisis. She done got locked out of her phone about 6 times. And she FaceTimed me because she thought it was a mirror. She was sitting there trying to do her makeup. And she did FaceTime and doing. I'm like, Mom, what you doing? What you doing? Me FaceTime. She then blocked about 60 people on Facebook because she thought it was adding them as a friend. And she blocked them as a friend and didn't know it. She's like, why can't I see you? Stop meant to see her. I'm like, you didn't block her. That's too crazy. I'm telling you. But it's been tough trying to lose weight. Trying to figure out how you're going to bring the weight down and eat Popeyes at the same time. It's been a tough trying to figure that out. What you gonna do? I'm like, look, I'm gonna get a dark special. And then I'm gonna do a Diet Coke because I'm trying to lose weight. It's been tough trying to. Yeah, that has definitely been a huge crisis. And it's been interesting to talk to friends and stuff like that. And it seemed like everybody's breaking up. Everybody's breaking up, and it just be like, you see 2 ugly people breaking up, talking about they going through a crisis. They can't stay together. And you're like, y'all 2 ugly people, y'all need to stay together because there's nothing out there for either one of y'all, And then to see them have kids, that's a true crisis. That's a true, some baby gremlins are going to be born in 2021. This is like, these babies going to look like COVID and then got them in the face. Then destroyed their face. Lord have mercy. I'm just like, why would you do a thing like that? I said, I seen one. I saw them in the baby carriage, and you might as well have police tape around the baby carriage because it looked like a crime scene. I'm like, when did you do this? How did this happen? I just don't know what to say. But it's been an interesting thing as far as a crisis thing because seeing especially some of these relationships where people are saying somebody was cheating, someone was going out there, and I'm like, dude, do you see yourself? Like, come on now, you cheating? Yeah, you shouldn't do that. No, you should stay at home and be a good wholesome guy. You got a good wholesome face. You got to be wholesome down there. All right, y'all, that's my time.
That was good. Thank you. I wrote down for your gas station food. Where's the next exit? You're looking for the next exit. The COVID crisis is a sex crisis. And then you started talking about losing weight, and I thought, how's that obesity epidemic going? In America, that there was good. Right. It's probably a lot worse. And And then I thought it was really funny, the crime scene tape around the babies. Like, it's just very rude. I like it. But yeah, that was good. Brandon, what did you think?
I liked it. I really liked when we talk about like crisis of old people and technology. I get that. My dad's in his 80s now and really needs to get the hell off the computer.
Right.
Yeah. You learn some things about your parents. And that's one thing, I was thinking you might want to say, you learn some things about your parents when all of a sudden they have Facebook
gross.
and all those things and some of the things they post. And you're like, I really didn't need to know that about you. I mean, I actually had to block I didn't block him. I just snoozed my dad so I could stop seeing stuff for a while. So, but no, so I really like that, the crisis of, older people on technology and that. So no, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I don't have a lot to add. The old people and technology was really good. I really liked in the beginning how you sort of tied in having like the consequences of eating while driving. Don't go into traffic. That'll be a real crisis. Sort of tying it into the whole thing. That's a really good idea. I feel like you can build on that. Sort of like add more stuff to it. I don't know that much about the place, so I can't, or like gas station burritos, because we don't have that here.
Really?
But yeah, it's more, I think it's just like hot dogs, shitty ass hot dogs.
Okay.
And that's not even everywhere. Like that's only at 7-Eleven, and there's only like one 7-Eleven in Hamilton, or two maybe. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Either way, so that was a good one. The other one that I really liked was the where you said that you might get your girlfriend might get suspicious if you came home with COVID. Like, you're comparing it sort of to STDs in a way.
Right.
Somehow, like, I don't know, that's the first thing that came into my head. Like, somehow, how did you get that? Where'd you get that from? It can't be from me. It must have been someone else, something like that. You can build on that. Like, COVID is basically, STD for me and my girlfriend or whatever. You could go somewhere else with that, but I'm just saying that the idea of how COVID made your girlfriend suspicious is a very funny premise. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Other than that, it's pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And now we're gonna move on to the portion where we all work on our. No, wait. Yes. Everybody went, right?
Yes.
Yes, all of us went.
Jesus Christ. This one time somebody went and then I asked him to give feedback on his own set because my mind sometimes it's not working.
It was
Anyways,
awesome.
It was not awesome. People did not think it was funny.
Aw.
They weren't as cool as you guys. All right, so this is a portion of the show where we do our own material, and we're gonna keep the same order if that's okay with everyone. Okay. Yeah. So this is probably the last time I'm gonna do these jokes of 2020. So I have a gun permit. Maybe you guys don't know this, but I have a gun permit. I don't have a driver's license though. It's just so complicated to take the test, and then you have to pay for the insurance and the parking and the car. I'd rather just have a gun and take the bus. And if I show the bus driver my gun, I get a free fare. So that's budgeting for you. And the other day, actually, I got a free bus. That was pretty amazing. And I can park it anywhere. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to park it, where I'm going to park it, if I'm drinking or whatever, because I have a gun. So what are you going to do? I currently live with two roommates that are in their 20s, and I'm in my 30s, and that's my bad that I live with two people in their 20s. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to do the dishes. They don't know how to have sex quietly. And they don't know how to please a woman, which I don't understand why you would be so loud about that. I mean, I'm just going to leave that one there. I wish I asked a million times. I asked my boyfriend to write me a love song. I think like it's so romantic. And he just keeps saying like, I'm an engineer. I'm not a musician. I don't know how to do that. I don't play an instrument. But I think he could still make an effort and maybe write me a computer code. like a computer language, you know, and name it after me. It could be like, you've heard of C++ and you've heard of Python. Get ready for Victoria, the completely unintuitive computer language you can use to try to do a few basic commands. And maybe it's like a computer language you use to like play old comedy albums. I don't know. Oh yeah. So my room that you see behind me is the room of a depressed person, which means that as soon as you walk in through the door, the smell of soup sort of hits you, right? Like a wall of soup. I eat a lot of ramens in bed, which maybe you didn't think you could eat soup in bed, but I'm doing it. I'm eating a lot of soup in bed. So I got a spoon in my bed, got a fork in my bed for scratching my back, and I got a bottle opener in my bed. I got a bunch of shit in my bed. Again, the bedroom of a depressed person. I also have a bullet that's stuck between the wall and the bed. It's not a gun bullet. Like, I know you might be thinking it's a gun. It's not a gun bullet. It's a clitoris bullet, which it's too small and slippery for me to pick it up. The bullet is too small and slippery, not my clitoris. My clitoris is actually bone dry and it is huge. It's so big. If I had to have a sex change, I already have the micro penis. So that's taken care of. Like, the doctor just has to sew me up and I'm good to go. I'd probably get a huge discount, which, you know, I'm a sucker for discounts. So I'm thinking about it. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you. So let's start with Brandon.
I loved it. The smell of soup, just, yeah, I get it. I have younger kids that are in their teens and 20s, and yeah, that's pretty much what they smell like, is soup, because that's all they eat is ramen. But so I get it. The clitoris one, that just, I think you did it last time you were working on that, and I still, it cracks me up every time. I love it. It just, yeah. I don't know how it feels weird talking to a woman about a clitoris over the internet, but yeah. So, but no, it was good. I loved it.
My clitoris is normal sized. It's not like a real. It's not based on real facts. I just want to put it out there.
This brings that whole weird conversation going there. But yeah, no, I mean, it was good. I love the writing. That's really good.
Thank you. What did you think, Hoffman?
It was really, really good. I loved the first bit about the gun. That was like, I feel like there's so much that you can go do with that. Like, progress it. What I've noticed is the smaller you progress it, the funnier it's gonna be. So like, you started it, I forgot how it was specifically, but it's like,
Taking the bus.
I can get a bus, and now I got the entire bus. Now I don't have problem with parking. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Like, the more you progress it, like, I'm trying to see, like, I got a free bus pass, and then I get whatever seat I want, for example. Like, I don't, if the bus is full, I can get a pregnant lady to, like, you know, get up or whatever, just because I have a gun. And then you move on to, like, now I have a bus because I threatened the bus driver, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, the smaller you progress the things that you can do with a gun, the funnier it is. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did take exception to is I'm in my 20s, and fuck you, I can do some dishes. Not all, but some dishes.
Sure.
I'm joking.
Dishes, I'm sure.
And I just like making horse noises when I'm in bed. I'm sorry. Like, it's not, the neighbors don't like it, fine, but like, they didn't give me a restraining order yet. So
they don't know you don't have a horse. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I keep telling the judge. It's my pet horse.
Yeah. Prove that I don't have a horse.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
do it.
There was one more thing that I was that comment. It was something that I was confused about, the clitoris bullet. How, like, is it? Do you have like a clitoris gun or something? Like, how did that go
Sorry.
there, like,
Yes, I should.
'cause it's a funny bit in terms of like the bullet is slippery, not me, all that kind of stuff. It's very funny, but I'm just saying, like, when I heard clitoris put out bullet, I was like, how does that work?
And I could do
Is
so
it
many
lethal?
innuendos and puns with like reloading, shooting
Oh yeah,
off,
there you go. Yeah,
shooting blank. I don't know. Yeah.
shooting blanks. That's
I
hilarious.
mean, I'm a woman.
Catching blanks. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, even just bringing up like, okay, hey, this is the only thing that I can get that doesn't say I'm tired and I got and goes to sleep after one round.
After one round. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just Bermuda. Like, I was confused at that term, like a clitoris bullet is all.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of actually. I don't know if this is too far, but like bringing it on stage, because
Clitoris bullet. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like it's a tiny vibrator that doesn't look like a vibrator, and it looks like a bullet.
Or,
an egg
Cool.
or a bullet, and you just
Okay.
put it on your. But do you think that would be too far? There's a girl in the circuit in Montreal. She brings a strap on, like on stage.
If you're doing it as a prop for comedy, then I'd say 100%. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Also, do you know where I can buy those?
It would have to
Anywhere.
be the type of show to warrant that, because if you know, I don't know, but it would just depend on the show. Like if it was maybe like if you did like an adults only show, like, hey, this is after midnight and we're doing an adults only show, then probably. But if you're doing like a show like 7 o'clock or at 2 o'clock in the day on a Saturday, might not be, because it's maybe a little bit too far. Now, of course, and that's hard to say, especially with comedy. Typically, I don't think there's too many things that are too far. But I don't know. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was kind of.
I mean, I'd say it depends on the place. I mean, there's a comedian around here that does a show that's called Unmentionables, and I've been on stage literally with a strap on my head so you can sit on my face and tell me that you love me. So, I mean,
you do that?
I've done it. Yeah, there's pictures of me with a strap on my head and topless too. So, it was
Can you send them to me?
quite
So.
fun.
I feel like it all depends on the place. Yeah, I agree with.
It does. It depends on the place.
Brandon.
The show that I did that on, the whole show was basically based off of props and having fun with it. It was
Okay, right. That's the setup for that. Yeah.
I don't know if this is a little late, but just talking about props right now kind of reminded me about one more comment that I wanted to say about Izzy's stand-up, which is I feel like you're like you would do really good with prop comedy because you were doing a lot with the phone case and you worked with
the
I
jacket.
forgot what else. Well, yeah, the jacket. So
yeah.
I feel like that could work in improv. I mean, not in improv. Sorry, and as props for comedy. So prop comedy is a thing, right? Especially for improv.
I've seen that. But typically when I think of props, like it's just stuff that you have already. Like, okay, I have a phone already, of course. I have a mic stand, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then that would be a little bit different than if you bring something up there and it's the dildo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, oh yeah, whoa, that's
Yeah, but
I've never seen too many women do that. I've heard a lot of women maybe bring it. I don't know, like if you had it in the purse and you brought it out, like you brought your purse up there, you had it in there, and then you brought it out after the fact, and like maybe act like you were going in your purse and it slipped out, and maybe talk about I've seen that
works.
But to bring it up and just here we go.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that works. But I'm thinking more of just in a broader sense, in a much more general sense. Just even if you don't bring anything on stage, just using the mic stand, the microphone itself as something that you would play with, like Eddie Murphy would. You would like drop it on the floor and stuff like that. So you can do things out of nothing with prop comedy. I'm just saying that a lot of your comedy is like making fun of how you would look doing something, or like how the situational comedy. So that would work 100% with just a mic stand or whatever. Or if you can find something to bring on stage as a prop, that could also work.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to take away from, I think it was Victoria's set.
That's okay.
It's
interesting.
Yeah, I like the gun part. I thought was really cool. Just like hey, I can go into a bank and they start handing me money. I don't even know why they're doing it. You know?
I don't even. Yeah, that's really good.
You know, stuff. I think that's really cool. So, you know, hey, just bring it. I have a gun, but I don't have a car. You know, having a gun, I can always get a car. Why would you not? You know, you're good. And then the bullet and the clitoris thing, I thought that's really cool. Maybe you bring up like, oh, well, you know, it's a bullet for my clitoris, but you know, due to the recession, I can just afford just a sock with a little and shake the sock up and do that. You know, I can't afford the full bullet or something like that. Or like the bullet only works like half the time because I can't afford like for it to work the whole time. So I'll only get like around just enough, and then like, but I'm still dry, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
That Izzy just gave me another idea where it's just you can be oblivious to the fact that you're getting so much shit. At the same time, keep telling us that you have a gun. Like you told us that you have a gun in the first place, but every time you say that it's easy for me to own a bus, easy for me to get whatever seat I want, you always try to end it with, I don't even know why. Like they're nice to me for no reason.
I could be like they think my gun is so cool.
Yeah,
you know, they love guns. There's a lot of guns aficionado. They just give me stuff.
Yeah.
They like my Magnum. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the next person, which is Brandon. Brandon, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. I was trying to find my notebook with my notes written in it, but I found like 6 notebooks and not the one that had the notes I just wrote. But I have way too many notebooks.
Okay. I feel you.
I found one I haven't seen in like 10 years. I'm like, where's this one been? So apparently there's a lot of stuff on this desk I wasn't sure was there. So for me, I guess I'll go right into it. I've lost 100 pounds over this year. So I know a lot of people have gone through this whole COVID thing and gained weight, and everyone asked me, you know, how did I lose weight? And it really isn't the way most people think. Everyone's like, oh, you know, what made you finally decide to do it? I pulled a muscle wipe in my own ass. So you know, and there's things that you just can't ask. I mean, no matter how long you've been married, there are things you can't ask your wife to do. I mean, you know, you have to do that. She's going to tell you, here, wipe it with the divorce papers. I mean, it's things you just can't ask them to do. So, you know, so it's like, so I thought about it for a bit. I'm like, you know, I'll get a bidet. I'll get a bidet. You know, it's a lot easier than having to take a shower every time you take a shit. So got a bidet. It was great, but then I was cheap and I didn't get one with the air dry. So now I just have swamp ass all the time. You know, now that's a problem. So everyone's asking me why my butt always looks like it's wet. And, you know, then I just started running to get away from people. And then eventually I just started losing weight. So, I mean, really it came down to, I mean, you know, running away from people. But then I ended up having more swamp ass because I'm sweating from running. So it turned into a whole nightmare. But now I'm 100 pounds down. And, I mean, it's a lot easier to wipe my ass now. But so that's really why I decided to lose weight, was just because of that. And, you know, it's just one of those weird things, you know. So COVID, you know, was a good thing for me. It helped me lose some weight. I had a whole bunch of other stuff to go along with that. Now my brain just went totally dead, and my notes aren't here. Yeah, that's all I got for now.
That's all. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I really like that bit.
Like I said, I had a whole bunch of other stuff to go after that, but then my brain just kind of checked out for a second. So
I was just thinking for your swamp ass. You're it's clean water though, you know.
Well, that is, but yeah.
But maybe you could like talk about, you could go in that direction of like, I don't know, like maybe you clean the water like a pool, like you keep it, you put chlorine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a direction to also like Shrek. I don't know if you like Shrek, but
yeah.
I don't have a really good feedback. I'm so sorry. Ahmed, you were laughing.
It was hilarious. I do love the idea that when you were sitting back and you were like, so with your swamp ass, it sounded like you were a doctor prescribing something to him. that bit was hilarious. It was sort of the idea that you lost weight out of nothing, out of just running away from people in the most like, peculiar way. There was the other thing right before that. I'm blanking on what you talked about, but it was very funny. Wipe your ass with the divorce papers.
Yeah.
And there was something right after that. I'm blanking on that again, but yeah,
The
it was.
bidet.
Sorry, the bidet. I also, dude, yeah, the bidet is just. I'm trying to put bidets into my stand-up just because I want to introduce bidets to people. I feel like that's such a great idea, great invention. And there's a lot of jokes that I can make with that. I'd say, yeah, I didn't even know you can get like a auto dryer or blow dryer with that. I usually just, use toilet paper after that.
No, you can get one with auto dryers. I'm just too cheap to pay for that.
Toilet paper is much cheaper, so you can just do that. Won't have any swamp ass anymore.
What about you, Izzy? What did you think?
I love the swamp ass one. I think that's cool because, a lot of people think that, when you injure yourself, getting older, a lot of times injuring yourself is simple stuff. Like it's wipe your own ass. It's like you stepped out of your bed wrong, you hurt yourself, So I think that with the spin of like, okay, just getting older, people think you just are just doing these miraculous things and you're getting, like you were skiing and you got hurt and that's how you lost your weight, But I was literally just getting up and just wiping my own ass, and that's how I hurt myself. And yeah, my wife is not the maybe the nurturing type. She wasn't gonna wipe my ass, and I felt like my kids are too young to do it. I was gonna let them do it to practice when I get older, but I didn't want to, give them the opportunity just yet. And then but no, I like it. It's a good bit. Yeah.
I with what Izzy was saying, like, it is funny that like you're getting older, which is like you injured yourself wiping your own ass, but maybe you could, after that, you could say like, I used, like when you were younger, when you were a teenager, like I used to be able to like do backflips or like, like jump off the swing set when you go really high or something, and now I'm injuring myself wiping my own ass. Like you could make a contrast like that of the two extremes, but yeah.
Like that.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next person, which is Ahmed. Ahmed, are you ready?
I believe so. Hopefully this makes 5 minutes, but yeah, I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready.
So, hi everyone. My name is Ahmed. I moved to Hamilton about 3 or 4 years ago, or as everyone calls it here, Canada's Detroit. A lot of people actually make fun of Hamilton. Like it's just, I mean, they think that it's the worst place to be in the world. I'm just happy not to be standing on homeless man pee here, So I just look at everything half full, the cup half full, Perhaps that wasn't the best example, but you know what I mean. Either way, honestly, have you even talked to anyone who's not from Hamilton and told them you're from Hamilton? They always go, "Aw, are you okay? Is everything okay in your life? Do you need me to call someone?" Which, I mean, they're not wrong about that, if I'm being honest. Is that 5 minutes yet?
No.
Damn it. I thought my Hamilton jokes were gonna take all the 5 minutes. All right. So I don't know how to start shows. As you can tell, I don't sound or dress the way I look. Thank God you can't see that. Because like I sound like a gay real estate agent, and I look like I shouldn't be permitted within 25 feet of a school zone. And I actually got a friend who got recruited by ISIS, which is crazy. Mostly because I didn't know that they recruited Mexicans. Do you know how hard it is to make a career in ISIS with a name like Julio Muhammad? He's struggling right now. So in this part of my act, I'm gonna start doing a little bit of some dad jokes for you guys. So bear with me, please. So So I saw a kidnapping today. When I saw a kidnapping, I went over and I woke him up. So, here's the second one. I think that was the best that one will get. I enjoyed babysitting a lot until the hospital called the police. I didn't know it was illegal. So, and the last couple ones, I recently met a professional shoplifter. He always told me to always lift with the knees, you know? And my friend actually once told me, stop pulling my leg hair. And this is one that I made right now. He kept saying that. And I thought that we should make something else that should attract more attention. Because leg hair is such a specific part of the body. And I feel like it almost doesn't exist because some people don't even have leg hair. So I think we should change it to something else that doesn't exist. And it's kind of more catchy, like don't pull my cocktail. So, and I feel like I'll never drink a cocktail ever again after thinking of that joke. So, because I'm a very visual person. As I said, I moved to Canada recently, and there's a lot of terms that I just didn't know what they meant. Like I kept hearing the term freezing rain on the radio. Freezing rain. There's going to be a big chance of freezing rain tomorrow. I thought that was just a fancy way of saying it's going to snow tomorrow. Turns out it's when it gets so fucking cold here that the water is like, fuck it. It's so cold that I'm not even going to turn to snow. I'm just going to turn to fucking freezing glass. And if you drive on me, then your car is basically ice skating. And that's basically like whenever you're driving in Canada here during the winter, it's like rolling the dice with your life. It's actually a pretty fun way if you're looking for a way out. Anyway, another one that I heard is that I keep hearing, like I keep seeing that a lot in the convenience stores around here, is new car scent. So if you if you want to buy a car scent, there's a scent that's called a new car scent. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Like, and that doesn't work in other, like there's a smell for stuff. There isn't a smell for a new, like, I've never heard of a new dick flavored condom or a new scented candle or a new candle scented candle. That doesn't make any sense, right? And I'm just gonna finish it off real quick. I really overthink a lot of things that I really shouldn't. Like I had an exam recently and I wanted to really sleep. I went to sleep early so I can wake up early and and all that stuff. And I ate well and everything. And at about 1:30 a.m. in the morning, I woke up, sat up, and thought, do I weigh more if I have a boner? And I haven't slept since. Because I feel like you have to weigh more. Like I've been weighing like hot dogs and uncooked shrimp to sort of get the rough estimate between the two weighs, between if it was hard or if it was soft. Yeah, no help with that. Lastly, I'll say that I was on a hike recently, and the guy that was the guide. He told me that if you ever see a bear or something that looks like it's gonna, he kept it vague. He was like, if you see anything that looks like it can kill you, just make yourself look big. Remember to make yourself look big. And I thought that only works if you're not small. Because if you're already big, it's seemingly effortless. But if you're small, that's pretty much impossible. Needless to say, I got mauled by a tiger that day. And actually, the last thing I want to say is I want to be cool like Denzel Washington one day. Just who he is, Like whatever he says sounds cool. It doesn't even matter. Even if you're talking to him about something that's not cool. Like Denzel Washington, what do you think about, troops serving in the army? And he'll say something like, only God can tell the difference between a man who serves and a man who's a servant. And you're like, I don't know what he just said, but I agree with him. So yeah, I'll just end it right there.
Thank you. That was very good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I love the new dick flavored condom. That is pretty fly. That's really creative. I really like that one. Even I mean, especially like if you're like, okay, hey, some of y'all dudes are with, with something new every day, every week. Y'all definitely need that smell, So all the women be like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. Always with so I think you'll get a lot of claps and applause from that. Hamilton and the Detroit of Canada, that's classic because everyone knows Detroit. So I family in Detroit, so I definitely know Detroit. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
That's good. I wrote here that for the Hamilton thing, you could be like, I do need to call someone, or like,
I need help out of here.
I don't have any more minutes on my phone, or like just make it sound really pitiful, like you're just having the worst day ever.
Yeah.
And then for the dick scent, so the reason why there's a new car smell is because you're trying to get rid of that old car smell. And the old car smell is like just a bunch of like vomit and food and like farts and whatnot. So the reason for the new dick smell is to get rid of the old dick smell, right? Which smells like vomit and farts and just a bunch of weird scents. And I just thought like you could, put those together. Yeah.
That works.
About the stuff. And then you said to make yourself look big. And immediately my mind went to like camera angles and Instagram filters and stuff.
Okay.
Which
I didn't think of it that way, but I feel like I could sort of go in the route of like, oh, maybe if I use the different Instagram filter.
You're like, I tried Hudson, but then I got mauled by tigers.
Yeah, okay, that could work. I mean, that joke really kind of sort of hit home for me because I'm barely 5'4", so I want to sort of bring that into there, but yeah, I might add that in. Oh, shit.
What did you think, Brandon?
I liked it. I liked the ISIS part with the Julio Muhammad. That was
good.
That was really good.
That cracked me up.
Rest in peace.
Picturing the whole,
Yeah, rest in peace, my brother.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. And see, honestly, not so bad if you did that right after you said it, the Julio Muhammad, and then rest in peace, my brother, and then that would actually probably just put me right over the top. But
I feel like that's a little over the top because I don't want the audience. I'm always scared of the audience like going, not knowing whether to be scared. I mean, to laugh or run to the door or something. So I sort of want to play with that aspect of it. But yeah, I love it.
I think that would be an awesome fit into there. But it's one of them. But you never know until you see an audience. Sometimes you'll have an audience that'll just die at it. The other ones will be like, "Oh God, no! Did his friend really die?"
It depends on the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it would be hilarious. But I love that bit. So.
All right, thanks.
I really love when you say struggling. I don't know why. It just makes it sound like you're trying to be a supportive friend. You're getting, hey, how's ISIS going? Like you're still in contact with him, even though he's in ISIS.
Yeah. Okay. I see because I didn't use the word struggling, but you mean when I said like how hard it is to make it to make it. As a career in ISIS with a name like Julio Muhammad or something like that.
Yeah. Well, at the very end, you said he's really struggling.
Okay. Yeah.
And
okay.
It just made it sound like you want to hug him or something and tell him that he
that's sort of that. The whole idea is I want people to laugh, and at the end, I want to show them that I'm on his side. That's why it's gonna be sort of funnier. And the funnier part is like half the audience is just gonna be again like on the fence, not knowing whether to laugh or not.
That's be one of the jokes that like people are gonna be afraid to laugh until somebody else laughs.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they're like, okay, no, it's okay to laugh.
Yeah, fair enough. I just always think that my look doesn't really help with that, but yeah, you're right. Like laughter is contagious on that.
With some of the PC world, the ISIS thing, because people don't know, and so it's kind of like, should we laugh? Should we not? If you did that in Seattle, they would be like, it'd be a pin drop. In anywhere down south, anywhere like people are not so sensitive and silly, you would probably be fine. Right. But again, it would just matter of the audience. So you'd have to make sure you have something behind that to cover that. You know what I'm saying?
Like
So,
I said, it really depends on the audience. Because, like you said, in Seattle, you could hear a pin drop. But
Yeah.
10 miles down the road in Tacoma, they'd be falling out of their chairs.
Yeah, I've
Right.
had this thing even like in Hamilton. It's as small as it depends on the club. Like there were some clubs where I've done jokes where it was a complete pin drop, and other clubs where it was just everyone was loving it. It also depends on like who was coming in that day. Sometimes it's just a
Right.
huge group
Right.
of one demographic. Sometimes it's another demographic. So
Right.
you know,
It's one of those things
there's
where
a lot of
that's all in
moving
the crowd.
parts to it in a way. But yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are right.
And that's why I've never been a point of, throwing away a joke completely. I go by the whole theme of the way Phyllis Diller said is that if you try every joke 3 times, and if it doesn't work, then it really doesn't work. But
Mhm.
sometimes it's the audience, sometimes it's you,
Mhm.
sometimes it's the timing of it. And so if you try it 3 times, you'll know. So, but some comedians be like, well, we tried 10. Okay.
No, see, and I've gone back and I've got stuff because I keep all my notebooks. I've got notebooks, like I said, I just found one on the desk from like 10 years ago. So, and I've still got videos from when I did stuff 10 years ago. And it's like, I go back and I watch it and I'm like, well, that didn't hit, but maybe if I rewrote it this way, and a lot of times if you go back on something where it didn't work then, but it was like, okay, I missed something. Maybe if I rewrote it just a little bit and one word change or a little bit of timing change, and it changes the whole joke.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I have one that I wrote out this entire joke and it ended up being the setup was the only part of it that worked. The setup was the funniest part. And really what it was why is anal lube flavored? The whole rest of the joke, none of it worked, but that part did. Because everyone's like, oh, and then it's, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing to end with. Just be like, and before I leave, I'm going to ask you this. And then you leave.
Or
And I did that pretty much. It was pretty much like, just
That's
before
awesome.
I leave, I want to leave you with this thought. Why is anal lube flavored?
Or would you
Understand
add
why.
it, or you would end it like I forgot the comedian that would do that. You would like go on a complete tangent, a tirade, like you sort of did in the build-up, and in the end would be like, my point here is that anal lube flavoring doesn't work, and then you would just like walk off stage. So it sort of like ties it back into everything, in a way. But yeah, it's still a funny premise.
Yeah.
Did everybody give their feedback?
I think so.
I kind of lost track, and then now it's Izzy's turn to do his material. Perfect.
Okay. It's time for the timer.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. This is been interesting to talk about the vaccine. Everybody's like, oh my God, I'm not going to take it. And it's crazy because it's the same people that give oral sex on a one-night stand from the girl that you've never seen anywhere ever in your life, and she looks the dirtiest in the world. And those are the same dudes. I'm not going to take it. I don't know where it came from, but your throat is clogged up now because you went down on her, and now you got the STD in your throat. Talking about I don't know where it came from. These are the same dudes that say they don't want to do it. The same dude. I tell you, it's crazy. The thing is, I've seen so much with this WAP song, WAP song by Cardi B, and women will be like, I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning. And I'm like, no, some of y'all with y'all's WAP, y'all need to go and cook and clean. Y'all need to get a mop and a broom. And y'all need to bring some food because your WAP ain't enough. You got sweat glands messing up, and that's your WAP. No. You got more left of like just a little puddle, that somehow somebody likes every now and then. That's the WAP. This recession has been interesting because I'm seeing like a lot of dudes are really depressed and going through it. So I'm seeing a lot of ugly women that are getting pregnant. So I know dudes are going through it because, these women are getting pregnant left and right. And I'm like, how is this the case? And see, when an ugly girl gets pregnant, dude is always, see what happened was, it's never like, oh, we're congratulating you. It's like, I was going through some stuff. I didn't see, I wasn't in my right mind when it happened. It's always a story. Something went wrong. Something went tragic. But speaking of sex, I've been seeing a lot of older people. They say older people have sex. And I I didn't know such a thing. You know, I was shocked to hear, you know, when to see older people have sex, you know, they don't do what they call water sports. You know, water sports is a form of sex where you pee on one another. You know, water sports to old people is like when one of them accidentally wet the bed, and that's water sports. So some of them, like there's pee in the bed. No, no, no. And then, you know, to hear that, to smell them having sex, it almost smells like burnt Bengay. You know, have you ever smelled like burnt Bengay? Like you just don't like, it's just a clash of, it smells like a clash of, all you hear Matlock in the background, and you smell burnt Bengay, and you see them old, and then they go to sleep on them old thick sheets. Remember them old thick sheets that your grandma used to give you? Them sheets that they was about this thick, and if you couldn't roll in them, it was always just like this wrapped up in the sheet. And so then after they have sex, they sit together like two dead bodies in a casket because they can't move in the sheets. It's just terrible to see that has a thing. I'm telling you. And then, you know, older women, they don't really suck dick. They just say, "Come here, just lay by me." Just they don't bend their knees or nothing. They just say, "Come lay over here. Just slide it over here." You know, it's like, you know, he's like, okay, come on. You know, definitely it's been interesting though. But last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with, you know, these low budget porns are always interesting to see. You know, everybody's been watching porn more. You know, don't even act like you haven't. Everybody's watching porn more because of the pandemic. You ain't had nowhere to go. And so the low budget porn is always interesting because they just start going at it. Like there's no context. You know, all you see is some little chicken lights on the top, little Crisco lights at the top. You see just two legs and a thigh just rubbing together, something like that. It just looks like that old you know, looks like it's just some chicken that's going over in the grill. That's all you see. That you don't even know what you're looking at. You know, the high budget porns, they have like a theme. You know, they got together and they met, and you know, she goes over his house. She's like, you know, I'm gonna just lay here. Do you want a massage? He's like, sure. And then they go at it. Or like maybe he's the pizza guy, and like he comes over, and maybe it's like the wrong house, and she's like, I ordered a medium, but you're getting a large. And then they go at it. You know, that's the high budget porn. They have like, they get together and there's a conversation, and you know, they walk through the woods or something like that. How about, you know, low budget porn? That's all you see in low budget porn. But you know, all right, that's my time.
Thank you. That was good. Luke commented, he said, the same dudes that complain about vaccines will also raw dog a Denny's waitress without a rubber.
Right.
Says older people pass syphilis around like pirates. The older lady's blowjob is gold.
Thank you.
High budget porn is like charcuterie. Low budget is barbecue. Brandon, what did you think of Izzy's set?
I loved it. It was good. A lot of punches. There wasn't a lot of downbeats between punchlines, which was good. There's a lot of punches in there. I really liked it. The idea about the low budget versus high budget porn was pretty good. No, I mean, it was good. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Ahmed, what did you think?
That was basically my point, is just how descriptive you were. Well, you were descriptive throughout the whole set. I feel like that's a big part of your comedy as well, descriptive about like what you were talking about. But I feel like that was sort of like emphasized in the porn categories when you were like describing high budget porn versus low budget porn. You can sort of go further in on that. Like you were talking about like how they sound. You were talking about how like there was the low budget music and low budget porn. You can go in on the music, the sounds, like what they wear, the stories in low budget porn versus high. But you were talking about high budget porn, they like run off into the sunset, like all this shit.
Right.
With low budget porn, it's like, you know, a dude with a camera going into a motel, and like I don't know how to end it, but like, you know, you do comparisons, you know.
In low budget porn, it's about paying your rent. You know, it's not about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they
That's
have like the
exactly
title
not
of
getting
just
kicked
red as
out.
dew. That's the title of the
That's really good. Yeah, not getting kicked out. That's
getting kicked out.
that's really good.
um,
But yeah,
I
the other than that, that was good.
Thank you.
Because I have a few notes. Oh shit. Yeah, you were talking about the wet ass pussies, and you're like, some of them are gonna have to grab a mop because they have like the wetness coming from their glands and stuff. So I just thought like they have wet ass glands or wet ass, like a wet ass ass.
Wow.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, and then the old people sex. You were saying like the water sports. I thought you could go through like every fetish like that, like bondage. They don't need bondage because they can't move anyways.
That's
Mhm.
good. I like
Sounds
that
good.
one. Okay, I
That's
got it.
good.
They don't need to pretend to not know each other because they don't remember who they are. Or like they don't remember who the other person is. And then I thought, because you were saying like the old lady was like laying down, just lay down next to me. For some reason, I was thinking like she has a dry ass pussy, and she's probably gonna need like those, you know, those frat guys that have like the 2 beers in the hat.
Oh
And
yeah.
she like for lube, so it just keeps lubing up the whole time. But maybe that
That's
doesn't fit
good.
your persona. I don't know. I feel like I
funny.
think a lot about juices. Very too much.
So,
But yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. Everybody went. That was amazing. You guys are really fun. You were a fun.
It was
group.
fun.
this was actually a fun New Year's Eve plan for me.
Yeah, I said this was the perfect end to a very crazy year, is to have this time and just to kick it. You know, I started in a comedy club, you know, for the first of the year before everything shut down. So it's always good to end in day 2020 comedy club is what, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy ass year. This is it's almost surreal. Like I feel like there's it's almost like a reality show for the
Yeah.
past like 9 months, and I feel like like there was nothing that you can do at the end of the year. Like, you know, I'd feel guilty even if I went out clubbing or went out to like a gathering or whatever, even if shit wasn't shut down here. I just feel shitty just because I don't know. I feel like there's a lot at stake, a lot that I don't know, a lot the everyone doesn't know really. So might as well just make the most of what we got. And while I was thinking that, I forgot the organizer's name. He sent me a text about the workshop because I had my name in the hat for like months now, and they text me every couple of weeks, and they'd be like, "You want to come to this workshop?" And I didn't even know you guys were doing one on New Year's Eve. I was like, this would be a cool idea.
I thought that was perfect because I saw it and I was like, because he told me the dates. New Year's Eve, that's perfect because I'm off anyway. It absolutely just fits right in. Now, also, just curious to know, COVID, right? Of course, we've all been affected by it. Do you feel like there are some, because I don't know how it's affected everyone. Of course, everyone has a story. Do you feel like there is a place to not joke about COVID? Because at the beginning, of course, I saw a lot of comedians trying to hit it. A lot of comedians were failing at it because I think the thing is you try not to, obviously, of course, want to be conscious of the sensitivity of it. But I don't know, how have you approached the material on that? And have you done material? This is a question for everybody.
Every joke, in my opinion, no matter the time, no matter the subject, all depends on the construct of the joke itself. It has nothing to do with like the environment. Now, yeah, because of COVID, a lot of people would be extra sensitive. A lot of people wouldn't even know how to laugh, no matter how funny the joke is. But I feel like you, as a comic, you have to take that into account, how sensitive they are, and you have to make a joke around that, you know, because the more you focus on the comedy, the more the easier it is for audiences to laugh, no matter how scary and uncomfortable the subject is. The more you just focus on the comedy aspect of it, the laughter aspect of it, the easier it is for the audiences to laugh. But yes, I agree. There were a couple of jokes that I had before COVID that had nothing to do with COVID really, but I felt like I was able to tie it into COVID. And some of them worked, some of them didn't. Depends on the audience. That goes back to our first conversation. But going to your question, I don't know shit about comedy. I'm still new at it, but like I feel like it all depends on the way you write the joke, man. It has nothing to do with anything else, in my opinion.
When 9/11 first happened, a lot of people, September 11th happened, a lot of people got upset at Joan Rivers because she was one of the first comedians that came out with it. And they were like, "Oh my God, you're such a terrible person." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if that was not the intent, obviously." So I'm just wondering, for everyone. I guess Brandon, Victoria, what do y'all think?
It depends on really sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I say it really depends on the like he said, it's the crowd, it's the people, it's the tone. I mean, it's one of those things a lot of people don't realize. Like Gilbert Gottfried, the reason why he doesn't do the Aflac commercials anymore is because of a joke he made after the Japanese tsunami.
It was hilarious. They were. Really
it was a hilarious joke too, but it was
really. That's why. Okay, I didn't know. That's cool.
Basically, he said that something about a Japanese guy losing his wife or something.
Yeah, my girlfriend just dumped me, but as the Japanese say, another one will be floating by soon.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
But it was still happening. He said that, and it was still happening.
It was like during the middle of it, like it was like, too soon. But so it really depends on the people. Like me, I'm a sick person, and I think that's hilarious, and I would have been like, "Ha!" But it's really the crowd. I mean, it's one of those, and it really depends on like if you make your joke really about COVID or just kind of COVID related, I guess is the word. Like when I say, I lost weight, as COVID started, but it really had nothing to do with COVID. It just happened to coincide at the same time that it happened. Just to kind of put people in the perspective of when it happened. But I mean, it depends on the crowd. I've seen jokes kill that have, but then other people are so sensitive about things that they're like, oh.
But that's why I think like you should just be yourself and be true to yourself and like really just like don't compromise, because I feel like let's say like you're like a really PC comedian and then you come out with like a COVID joke about people dying, people are going to get offended and they're going to get mad because that's not what you usually do. That's not the person they know. But if you're someone who just does dark comedy all the time, then it's fine. And there's, even if you do stuff that's like cleaner, let's say, some people are not going to laugh because they're going to want to hear the dirtier jokes. So you always lose at some point. There's you're always going to lose something.
Depends on the target market that you attract. The kind of comedy that your target market attracts.
Well, this is definitely placed an interesting emphasis on, not to cut you off, it definitely placed an interesting, because between people being stressed out and sensitive, and then you have the PC culture, and then the cancel culture, you don't know, it brings an interesting predicament for comedians or artists in general, because stuff that could fly 20 years ago, I mean, now it's like, you're like damned if you do, damned if you don't, some of this stuff. So you kind of don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's very hard to find, especially now, because there's so many groups, there's so many communities, there's so many fan clubs, there's so many like group clubs, there's so much of that I feel like if you belong to one, then you automatically offend another one. But I feel like the more you just focus on the comedy, that's what I'm saying. If you focus on the joke itself, then even if the people that don't like you, the reasoning for them not liking you won't make sense. They'll just figure out ways to not like you. They'll be like, it's too offensive. But if you focused on the joke the entire time, then there's not really a reason for people to think that you were trying to be offensive. You know what I mean? You can always
play the comedian card. I'm just doing jokes.
Well,
I'm just trying to make people laugh. I don't have any intent behind it.
100% true. I just definitely don't mistake that with, because there's some people that are shitty, like that do shitty things and say shitty things and then hide it behind it was a joke, man. So there is that fine line of that. But yeah, I agree with Victoria.
But you do run in
there. It's a joke. It's all a joke at the end.
Yeah, there are people out there who want to be angry and they want to get upset about it.
Yeah, we're gonna offend someone.
I have a joke that I literally wrote with completely gender neutral. The name that I use is Jesse because it could go either way, and everything else, and have had people get pissed off at me. And I'm like, I literally wrote the joke and say it purposefully
Yeah.
completely gender neutral so that it isn't, because it's basically about, you know, as a boss getting sex from a coworker, getting a blowjob. And I'm like, I basically make it sound like, and what's funny is I use the word Jesse, and every Jesse I know is a guy. But I had someone basically come up and tell me it was sexist. I'm like, no, I literally wrote that joke in a way that it wasn't, you know, and if you're putting it into it, you put it there. I didn't. It's your perception.
Right.
Yeah, you're
right.
being
And you get
sexist
those
by
people,
putting a
yeah.
woman. You're
Yeah.
the one
You get
putting
people
my
that do
dick
that.
in a woman's mouth. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like-
And you get people that do
Not
that.
on
They just
purpose.
want to be upset, and they're gonna find something,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
in your set to say, oh, this person did this.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. I just to add to your point, Izzy, about how Joan Rivers got in shit for that 9/11 thing. This kind of ties in. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there was like the George Carlin special. He shot a special and he named it "I Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die," or "I Kind of Like It When Some People Die." And if you know his stand-up, like that's completely George Carlin-ish. Like he rants about, in a very introspective way, he rants about like, you know, the mistakes that humans make and like the fundamental impulses that we have and stuff like that. And he makes fun of or points out a lot of government mistakes and stuff like that. But it was called that, and he like really goes in on how he loves to see people dying as a joke. And that special was taped on September 10th, I believe, of 2001.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look at that special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he woke up. Oh, and it's like he literally goes in on like, I want to see rumbles falling and people running, trying to get out of the way.
Jesus.
That's
Wow.
entertainment to me and stuff like that. That came on like the day before. And then I'm
Okay.
assuming like the day of, like, you know, they woke up, they had to change it or something. Like it's even hard to find it online, but you can definitely find it. Like it's one of those, if you search George Carlin material, like it shows you a compilation of stuff. But if you go
Okay.
sift through his material, you'll find that was definitely one of his specials. Yeah. And it was
I'll
one of
have
the
to
good
look
ones.
it
If I'm
up.
being
That's
honest, it
interesting.
was one
I'll
of
look
the
it up.
more really good ones. And my point with this is that at the time it was probably really terrible, but right now it aged really well because he's looked at as like one of the greats in comedy.
Very true.
At least to me, like he's on the Mount Rushmore of comedians.
He is.
Oh yeah.
You know
Very
what I
true.
mean?
I
So,
think
and
that-
that's because of his realism in comedy. So,
right.
you know,
What's actually funny though is I
definitely
just
presents a
looked it
lot of
up.
stuff.
It
Sorry?
did record the September 9th and 10th, but they never released it until 2016.
Well, there you go.
Really?
yeah.
It was his final album, but they didn't release it for that long because
It was his final album. I believe
Oh,
that
the
wasn't
time
he's doing
frame.
stand up until he died, like in 2008. Because I do
but it was a
remember.
final
Like,
album, like actual album.
okay, fair enough.
But
Yeah.
it didn't get released till 2016.
That's crazy. That means that it
Okay.
was like sort of a marketing tactic. Like, okay, we have to like let this age like a fine wine before we like
Yeah,
get
I
out
mean,
to the
September
public.
10th. I mean, I would imagine if they had actually let that release, you talking about they
Crazy.
would. I mean, he would
Crazy.
be banished from the country.
Crazy.
Like,
Well,
he
you
would be
also
Yeah.
just got to think about the fact that he
Mhm.
just, even if they didn't put it out, like he still did the show on September 9th or 10th, unless correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon.
You know, obviously,
So
Yeah, it was
the
actually both
audience
days.
was
themselves.
going to happen.
It was 2 shows, the 9th and 10th, and it was stuff used from both of them.
Was that the name? I like it
Yeah.
when a
But
lot
he
of people
did
die.
a tour probably. Like
Yeah, kind of like it when a lot of people die.
a lot of people heard it all over the country.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying. Like live
Yeah.
shows, the live shows that he did,
Yeah.
and I've seen that special done different times. So he did it like once, and then he did a polished version of it, and he did it in another city. So I've seen.
Which
all
I mean,
of
that's
them.
what happens with a lot of those.
Sorry.
I mean, that's what usually when you see those albums released like that, an album release, they've been doing it throughout the whole country forever. It's so fun
Exactly.
trying to-
So they're polishing the entire material,
Yeah.
and like
When you get
I'm
friends and
assuming
see you do
they liked
comedy
it
and
at
they're
the
like,
time.
it's the same joke you did last month. Yeah, because I'm trying to polish it for something else. I mean,
Right,
Right.
right. Or he'd do it at
Well-
different cities.
yeah, different
Well,
cities,
that's why I
different shows.
love open mics, and I've always I know some comedians don't do open mics. Like some of the vets don't do open mics because I think that I think, and that's what I hope we get back to doing full open mics in person, because you'll know if something really works
Hmm.
in the mic. I mean, this is a little tougher because you can't. I can't see what people's reaction. I don't know when people felt,
Yeah.
all this stuff like that, and I don't know how to feed into the audience joke.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
tougher to figure out if something really worked or whether it was
Yeah.
just maybe the people that were listening.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm glad. I definitely am excited for that to come back because again, something truly works. And then, but my point was to work on, to being on a show, you have to have stuff that works. And then back to what Brandon was saying about him having notebooks and stuff like that. You have to have, every comedian that's been doing it a while, typically you have a couple of notebooks of some material, or you have stuff written down somewhere, virtual, this and that. But yeah, I still have my first book when I started writing back in 2008. So.
Mm.
Oh wow.
I haven't been writing that long.
I'm sorry, but we have to end the show here.
Yeah, sorry, I was rambling a bit.
That's okay. That was really interesting, I think. But this is the part of the show where you get to promote any sort of social media you have, any podcast. Izzy, do you have anything?
Just hit me up on Century Changer on Instagram. Century, like the 100 years changer on Instagram.
Perfect. What about you, Ahmed?
Because of COVID, there's really like nothing, no events that we're setting up. We used to have shows in Toronto, but not really going to work anymore. You could just follow me on social media. Hopefully, if you're interested in setting up any some podcasts or anything like that, I believe we'll put up the names and the ads afterwards. So yeah, it's Ahmed Abu Hamda or Adam Abu Hamda for Instagram and Snapchat.
Thank you. What about you, Brandon?
I'm on Instagram as Mr_B_666. It's spelled Mr. spelled out. I have actually 2 podcasts, Renurse podcast, and then I do one with my son that's actually called Love and Hate Radio. That's on NWTZ Radio. It's a fun one. And then actually there's a third one. I do a conspiracy theory show on Sunday nights on a show and down
That's
in
cool.
Tacoma. So, it's kind of fun. It's a fun little thing. We call ourselves conspiracy realists because we try and talk about the reality of some of these conspiracies.
Are you guys doing sort of like podcasts on that, or just like
we do it as on the radio, and then we actually also do we record it and then put it out on a podcast. It's NWCZ Radio's Down the Rabbit Hole.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It must be really high quality. As for me, you can find me on Instagram at Victoria for Days. Otherwise, every Thursday I have a movie trivia night with Claudio Capri. It's Victoria and Claudio's movie trivia night. You can go in the group on Facebook to play with us. Today we did like just a podcast because it's a holiday, so we didn't have any trivia, but you can listen to that. It's about the movies coming out in 2021. And every Sunday I do a podcast with 3 of my friends called The Dirty Four, which were just really 4 crass comedians just talking about bullshit for 2 hours. So if you're interested in that,
What
the
time
Dirty
is
Four
the
podcast.
Sorry, what time is the Thursday movie trivia show?
8:30.
Eastern time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the Dirty Four is also at 8:30, but on Sundays.
Okay.
And this Sunday we actually have a guest. It's going to be Daniel Grinnell. Maybe some of you know him. He comes by sometimes.
Is he do you know where he's from in terms of comedy?
I think he's from the
Where he
United
does.
States,
Okay.
right?
I'm not sure.
No one can back me up on this.
Say it again.
Daniel Grinnell. No, okay. That's all right. You guys will see him on Sunday anyways. So anyways, thank you everyone for watching and have a happy new year. I wish you all of the success and love and vaccines in the world.
We made it.
Phenomenal
We made it.
2021.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have fun, guys.